Greetings. I am Keith Russell Lee. I am Senior Minister and Spiritual Director of the Destiny Center for Spiritual Empowerment, as well as best-selling author and business leader, as you know, a financial professional, as well as a life and a success coach, and one of the foremost experts in personal and spiritual growth and development. So I'm really excited this day about sharing the 11 keys to success and prosperity. Last time I left off, we were talking about key number one. I shared key number one, which was making God a priority in your life. But before I get into the second key, I want to just kind of go back and review what is success and what is prosperity. Because again, as I had shared in my introduction, there's a lot of times people have made this so controversial. I mean, I don't know. I probably wouldn't serve a God that wouldn't want me to be successful and be prosperous in my life. But I want to be able to share clearly what success and what prosperity is so that we can be able to have a clear understanding. And as I share, please have an open mind and an open heart to these teachings. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is what is success? And success, as I've defined it in my forthcoming book that's coming out, The Destiny System, I talk about success as being your authentic self. It's being your authentic self, who God has made you to be, operating out of that true spiritual nature. And it's having the resources that are plentiful in your life, with the personal freedom that does not make you beholden to anyone or anything. Doesn't that sound like success? Of course it does. That I'm being true to who I am, that I have everything and more that I need in resources that are plentiful, and that I have personal freedom to come and to go. I was listening to Warren Buffett, an interview that he did several years ago. And Warren Buffett had said the key to having money is that you're able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And isn't that the idea of success? Having the resources that you need to have personal freedom, that you don't have to be tethered or tied to anyone or to anything and be beholden to, if you will. So that's success. And what do I mean by prosperity? Prosperity is God's help and assistance along on this journey as it's defined in Hebrew. But I like to always add a little bit to it, give it the Keith Russell Lee flair. And prosperity is having everything that you need and what you want. It's what you need and what you desire, and it's enjoying that on this journey of life, and enjoying that on the journey of life. And again, as I shared, God says that I'll meet your every need according to his riches and glory. In addition, he says that delight thyself in me and I will give you the desires of your heart. Desires of our heart are not bad things. The needs that God has already met. And so life is supposed to be exciting and joyful on this grand journey with great resources. And folks, that's what these 11 keys to success and prosperity is all about. Now let's go to the second key. That second key is this. It's remembering your authentic self. It's remembering your authentic self. Because again, my friends, that you are more than the ego. The ego, as I define it, psychological word that I define it as the self-manufactured notion and idea of who you are. That's the self, the aspect of you that has been indoctrinated by your family, by your culture, by your education, by society at large. They say, this is who you are. But the reality of the fact is, that's not who we are. The Bible will call that the flesh. We are actually, our true spiritual nature is that which is divine, that which is God. And that is why the new birth experience is so important. Jesus says that a man must be born again. We must shed off that old indoctrination of who we were taught to be, and to embrace this newness of life that we have as the Christ. Now, it's really interesting because there's a couple of verses I want to be able to share about remembering who you are. See, I can never walk in prosperity and the fullness of God's abundance as long as I, keep in a mindset of the way I was indoctrinated. Woe is me. Maybe I should just strive for a certain level. whatever it may be. You know, our indoctrination has put limits on us. Matter of fact, Charles Fillmore called it the human race consciousness, that this consciousness puts limits and limitations on our lives. But see, when I recognize that, as Peter declared, that, but you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the works of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. That's 1 Peter 2:9. When I embrace that aspect of who I am, when I embrace that aspect of knowing that, man, I am God's special chosen possession. I shared with you before, we are God's masterpieces according to Ephesians 2:8. So when I embrace that idea of who I am, when I embrace, even as the psalmist declared in Psalm 82:6, that ye are gods. Can you imagine that? He says, ye are gods. And his idea of us being gods, because we were created and made in the likeness and the image of God, that we are manifestations of God. We are droplets of the ocean of God. And so he says, ye are gods, lowercase G-O-D-S, for ye are children of the Most High God. See, when I embrace that notion and idea of who I am, who God has made me to be, then I realize that I can be able to go and to create, to be, to do, and to have all that the Father would have for me in my life. I begin to embrace that you know what, I am a royal priesthood, and that I do have certain rights, that I am worthy of all of the success and all of God's prosperity in terms of my life. Number two, key two, you must remember who you are, who God has made you to be. And folks, that's what this lesson today is all about. Now, let me share this in the next couple of minutes before I close. You know, folks, this is the beginning of the new year. This is the beginning of the new year. A lot of times people talk about, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. And next year will not be any different as this year if you don't get the tools and the resources that you need. If you don't invest in yourself to be the best that you can be, I want you to start thinking about investing in terms of who you are. I want you to start thinking about, I've got an upcoming webinar that's creating a happy new year and creating a happy new year and a happy new you. And that is coming up on the 15th. That's coming up this coming Friday, that I'm going to be sharing and teaching a free 3-hour webinar on Friday evening. And I want you to be a part of that webinar. Go to my website. You can be able to register at destinysec.org. Don't delay. Go ahead and do it. You've got to start investing. Also, I'm going to be talking about more tools and resources this week to give you that you can be able to be all that God would have you to be. You need to have a coach in your life. And I have a coaching program that's online as well as live interaction with me as well. You know, you need to enroll in some seminars and some classes that we all have online, and I'm going to be offering those things to you. Just go check it out on the website, destinysec.org. But listen, until next time, and if this is a blessing to you, let me always close with this. If this has been a blessing to you, you can go to the website also, destinysec.org. And please bless this ministry, you know, and I want to say thank you already in advance. And so until next time, I am Keith Russell Lee saying live with faith and power and continue to create that phenomenal life.